Wikipedia is an online free content encyclopedia project helping to create a world in which everyone can freely share in the sum of all knowledge. Any information you need, you can find on Wikipedia, from moon landing to Kim Kardashian. But as I said, you can find information about anything on Wikipedia. So it should not come as a surprise that you can find some deeply dark and disturbing pages on Wikipedia, and today I am going to talk about some of the most disturbing Wikipedia pages. Hello guys, a resident of SimCity, I'm Azifity, and today I'm going to tell you 5 of the most scary and disturbing Wikipedia pages I found. Number 5. Stone Man Syndrome. How would you feel if you're trapped in your own body? How would you feel if you slowly turn into bone? Fibrodysplasia ossifications progressiva, FOP, also known as Menschmeyer disease, is an extremely rare connective tissue disease. It is a severe disabling disorder with no current cure or treatment. It is the only medical condition where one organ system changes into another. It is commonly known as Stone Man Syndrome. It has no cure. People suffering from this disease slowly lose their ability to move completely, resulting in some people not even being able to sit. Minor injuries can lead to new bones forming and replacing the damaged muscle tissue. These bone formations develop into a second skeleton which slowly restricts the patient's ability to move. It is an extremely rare disease and only 80 people suffer from the disease, and those who suffer can live to only 40 years. It is caused by mutation of the gene ACVR1. The mutation affects body's repair mechanism, causing fibrous tissues including muscle, tendons, and ligaments to be ossified, either spontaneously or when damaged as a result of trauma. In many cases, minor injuries can cause joints to become permanently fused as new bone forms and replaces the damaged muscle tissue. This new bone formation eventually forms a secondary skeleton and progressively restricts the patient's ability to move. Bone formed as a result of this process is identical to normal bone, simply in improper locations. One noted case was that of Robert. He was hit by a car at the age of 4 while playing with his sister. The accident resulted in him injuring his left femur. Initially, it did not seem like something serious, and his leg was placed in a cast, but when it was removed after several months later, doctors noted the first set of abnormal bone growths. Soon it became difficult for Robert to move, and when his parents took him to the hospital to treat this condition, attempts to treat this condition made it even worse. The bone plates got thicker, and over time these effects were on his body. In 1944, a study confirmed that most of his tendons, ligaments were newborn. He could only use his eyes, lips, and tongue. He got trapped in his own body. He passed away at the age of 39. Number 4. The Dark Web. The internet is a global network of billions of computers and other electronic devices. With the internet, it is possible to access almost any information, communicate with anyone else in the world, and do much more. The amount of information we have access to on the internet is endless, and like Wikipedia have articles, the internet has web pages, but what if I told you that you have access to only 5% of the web? See, the websites or any information you have ever come across on the internet is most probably on surface web. Surface web is only tip of the iceberg. 95% of the web is hidden and can be only accessed using a special web browser. The dark web is the hidden collective of internet sites only accessible by a specialized web browser. It is used for keeping internet activity anonymous and private, which can be helpful in both legal and illegal applications. From selling drugs, fake passports, child porn, weapons to hiring contract killers. There is no illegal activity that you cannot find on the dark web. This can happen because users and website operators on the dark web are anonymous and untraceable. The dark web is a hotbed for criminal activity. You can buy credit card numbers, all manners of drugs, guns, counterfeit money, stolen subscription credentials, hacked Netflix accounts, and software that can help you break into other people's computer. Buy login credentials to a $50,000 Bank of America account for $500. Get $3,000 in counterfeit $20 bills for $600. Buy 7 prepaid debit cards, each with a $2,500 balance for $500. A lifetime Netflix premium account goes for $6. You can hire hackers to attack computers for you. You can buy usernames and passwords, and yes, hire contract killers too. I would highly suggest to never ever visit the dark web. But not everything is illegal. The dark web also has a legitimate side. For example, you can join a chess club or Black Book, a social network described as the Facebook of Tor. Even though I would hesitate to meet friends if I ever joined this Black Book social network. Never. I have many video ideas related to the dark web for my YouTube channel, like starting a series called Stories from the Dark Web. Number 3. The Zone of Death. Known for its rich wildlife and greenery, Yellowstone National Park is an American monument. However, it hides a dark secret. The Zone of Death. A place where anyone can technically commit any crime and never be punished for it. The Zone of Death is the name given to the 50 square mile Idaho section of the Yellowstone National Park, in which, as a result of purported loophole in the Constitution of United States, a criminal could theoretically get away with any major crime, including murder. This is due to a loophole in the Constitution. A crime committed in the Zone of Death would be constitutionally required to be tried and include jury members from the said zone. But because this area of Yellowstone is inhabited, a jury could not be assembled, and therefore a criminal could not have a fair trial, meaning the case would be dropped. In addition to that, the federal government has exclusive jurisdiction over the park, so state prosecutors would not be able to interfere. The strange thing is, despite the government's awareness of the loophole since 2005, it has never been closed, hence keeping the paradise for criminals still open to this date. Number 2. Locked-in syndrome. Locked-in syndrome is a rare neurological disorder in which there is a complete paralysis of all voluntary muscles except for the ones that control the movement of the eyes. Individuals with locked-in syndrome are conscious and awake but have no ability to produce movements outside of eye movement or to speak, aphonia. Now you may be thinking, oh, it's sleep paralysis. Well, it is, but the difference is locked-in syndrome is permanent. I cannot even imagine the suffering of people who suffer from this syndrome. You're like a prisoner inside your own body. The worst part is there is no cure for it and there is no known cause for the locked-in syndrome. Many famous people suffer from locked-in syndrome, the most notable being Stephen Hawking. Here is one such story. French journalist Jean-Dominique Bauby suffered a stroke in December 1995. When he awoke 20 days later, he found his body was almost completely paralyzed. He could only control his left eyelid, as the other was sewn shut to prevent an infection. By blinking this eye, he slowly dictated one alphabetic character at a time, and in doing so, he was able over a great length of time to write his memoir, The Diving Bell and a Butterfly. The memoir was adapted to the screen in a namesake 2007 movie. 3 days after the book was published in March 1997, Bauby died from pneumonia. He was instrumental in forming the Association du Locked-in Syndrome (ALIS) in France. In the popular TV show Game of Thrones, one of the characters, Khal Drogo, succumbs into a vegetative state after suffering sepsis countered by blood magic, resulting in complete paralysis. Though he is able to move his eyes along the orbit of the sun, he is implied to be blind and that he can sense it only because of the heat. His wife, Daenerys, ultimately suffocates him out of pity. Locked-in syndrome happens regardless of age and gender. You never know, you could be next. I pray from my heart that no one has to go through this suffering for the rest of their life. Your life is precious, my friend. Enjoy every moment of it. Number 1. The Atlas Vampire. On May 4, 1932, a 32-year-old sex worker, Lily Lindström, was found murdered in her small apartment in the Atlas area of Stockholm near Sankt Eriksplan. She had been dead for 2 to 3 days before the police broke into her apartment. She had suffered blunt force trauma to her head. Lily was found completely naked and face down on her bed. According to reports, sexual activity had taken place, with a condom found to be protruding from her private parts. The detectives noted that a gravy ladle was found at the scene, and on further inspection of the body, they realized her body had been drained of all her blood. Police suspected that the implement was used by the perpetrator to drink Lily's blood. Various clients fell under suspicion, but after a lengthy investigation, none were charged with murder. The murder remains unsolved. The killer became known as the Atlas Vampire. So guys, thank you for watching this video. Before you guys leave, I just want to thank my girlfriend for helping and supporting me with this YouTube channel. She's helping me write the script. So thank you, baby. I love you and thank you so much. It means a lot. And thank you guys for showing so much support and love in my last video. I'm extremely overwhelmed by the positivity. It means a lot. Thank you so much. So take care, stay healthy and stay awesome like you are.